Hey, Zeiss here. Welcome. Let's see what we have here. Is Diablo 4 open beta transforming feedback into change? So obviously they decided to fix their broken beta. Too many people were complaining about this and that, about this unreleased yet game. So yeah, it's quite normal to get a lot of feedback for something which was out for testing. And I will try to not waste much time here. So let's get to the point. Dungeons were dungeon layouts were fixed. So this is something many people were complaining about. They didn't like the Den of Evil type or whatever. Kill all monsters or go here, then like go on top, return. This kind of time waste. Anyway, so obviously this is fixed, and hopefully it will be better in the future. Um, the chance for an event to spawn inside the dungeon has been increased from 10 to 60%. I don't actually think this is good because it kind of takes out of you this feeling that makes you go again and again to be able to get better rewarded. So I don't really approve this change. It was rare to get an event, and it felt more rewarding because it was rare. So mm, no. Dungeon gameplay to reduce the need to backtrack small number of small number of numbers will seek out the player. Okay, this is good, obviously. And Animus now grants resource and resets cooldown. Quite rewarding. Hopefully, there will be more monsters to make sense for this reward. Disposing animals, channel time reduced. Okay, good. This is actually great. Pedestal, channel time 0 again from 2 to 0. This is good. About rescue objective, now drop the health potion. No biggie. Wha Now, this is something weird. While carrying whatever, you get move speed. Imagine you carrying a mechanical box or a stone which will grant you move speed. Carrying around heavy things now grants move speed, guys. What do we make of that? I don't know. I think there's gonna be abuse, and they're gonna change that. Returning a portable object to its pedestal now fully restores health, resource. Who cares? I mean, this is the last thing you do before you do the boss. Right? Right? Maybe this is why it makes sense. Especially for Barbarian to have resource while entering the boss. Okay. All doors will now generate a minimap ping when they are opened. Okay. All structure objectives in dungeon now have additional combat mechanics players must overcome. While dungeon offer variety of objectives to complete, player feedback stated that the action of completing each objective felt tedious. We hope that providing bonuses such as the increase to mobility while carrying certain objective items will streamline blah blah blah. Okay. I don't approve of this change, but it is what it is. Classes were balanced owing to the druid guides. Yeah, let's see. Hey, what's that? Okay. That was weird. Anyway, let's move on. Barbarian has less damage reduction. Okay, great. Skill 3 passives have their damage reduction effects reduced to compensate. Ah, okay. Makes sense. Whirlwind skill now deals more damage and consumes more fury. That definitely makes more sense because you don't just engage an enemy with whirlwind, you use your other skills first. And yeah, this is good. And you're always like full of fury while you combat, so double swing skill refunds its full fury cost when used on stunned or knocked down enemies. This is good. Druid. Companion skills will now deal heavily increased damage. So yeah, expecting those druids with pack of wolves moving around. Too bad. Most probably they won't show in town. So yeah. All ultimate skills have been have cooldown reduced. Okay, helpful. Usability improvements have been made to mow and pulverize. Yeah, hopefully because these skills felt like being too powerful, but actually not being powerful at all. They just look like it. Using a non-shapeshifting skill will transform a druid back into their human form, which is good for resource generation, definitely. Necromancer, what do I say? I expect lots of nerfs here. Summoned minions will die more often, requiring players to utilize corpses more often. This is bad. Definitely bad because they weren't that strong at all. Many bonuses in the Book of the Dead have had their stats increased. I don't know what to say. Most probably late game Necromancer will completely ditch minions, like because they take too much space in the button assignments. So minions would require like what, three slots? I don't know. The damage dealt by corpse explosion skill has been reduced. Makes sense because of the blood mist thing. Definitely. But it wasn't that good damage wise, like compared to other Diablo games. The brightness of the skeletal warriors and mages has been reduced. Okay. Hopefully at least we can distinguish them from the skeletons we meet. Rug was terrible. I mean, it gets better when you level it, but initially it was terrible. So let's see. Upgrades, okay, good for skills and their bonuses increased. Okay, multiple passive skills had their bonuses increased. Makes sense because I remember having difficulty with the first boss. Right when you start, the first boss, when you only have 2 skills or whatever. It was most difficult for me with Rug and Druid. Then Barbarian, maybe Sorcerers, and with Necromancer, it was the easiest. All imbuement skills have had their cooldowns increased. Oh man, okay. This is good. But hopefully they fix this, being able to spam attack faster. Sorcerer. Charge bolt damage was increased and the mana cost to cast has decreased. Okay. The decreased the damage of chain lightning and reduced its effectiveness against bosses. This totally makes sense because I remember chain lightning being too powerful. Just walk around, chain lightning, screen dies. So yeah, quite expected. Decrease the cooldown for the incinerate skills enhancement bonus. Whatever. Okay. Firewalls will now spawn underneath enemies more frequently when using its enhancement bonus. This is good because actually firewalls have this bonus to make enemies take more damage while being under firewall, so definitely helpful. And at times it felt it wasn't strong enough, so definitely good. Increase the lucky hit chance for meteor skill enhancement bonus. This is also great because meteor can be really useful damage dealing skill you can use if you know how to aim with it. Maybe this will take a bit more practice, but I think meteor could be a good skill, although I find combining any skills with firewall better because they can take more damage from the skills you generally use without having to wait for this meteor to fall down and specifically hit that enemy which might be moving while the meteor is falling. Hopefully they managed to balance classes better. It felt like way off balance in the beta, and it's quite normal. The game did not fully release yet, and many things are supposed to change, so even before they warned like nothing is final and probably shouldn't be taken seriously. Don't waste your time making build guides or whatever. Anyway, so UI fixes, screen reader, great. Okay, if this for the PC guys, fixed an issue where actions could not be bound to mouse wheel. Okay. Many use that, even I use it in other games like Path of Exile, which is not the topic here. Fixed an issue where evade couldn't be bound to the right analog stick on controller. Okay, this is good because it would be good if they add one more skill slot. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense because for many skills you just don't use the right stick for target locking or whatever. Wouldn't make much sense. So better have this evade on the right stick and have us use one more skill slot. This would be better, definitely. Character stats will be displayed by default when players click on the materials and stats. Okay, yeah, this is better because I remember I wanted to check something and first I see like things I didn't care about and I have to dig deeper to find the stats bonus and things. This is good. The font being changed, okay, nobody cares. As long as it's useful, easy to read and all that. Fixed, okay, in encounters, fixed multiple issues that allowed bosses like the butcher to become unresponsive. I didn't have that, so I don't care. I mean, if you had that, probably it was an easy kill for you. Can't say the same. The butcher has been re-evaluated for difficulty and will present a greater challenge in the higher tiers. Okay, this is good and it totally makes sense. This is how it should be. Game should be difficult, but easy to understand. Bosses such as this and that and others were re-evaluated for melee character difficulty, resulting in changes to attacks and fight mechanics. This is good because having monsters running away from you and you being melee, just no good, guys. Fixed an issue where vampire brutes using the shadow enchant affix could chain cast impale. Yeah, this helps. So far so good. Cellars. Increase the chance for a dungeon event to occur in cellars, so yeah, most probably we'll be spamming those. Cellars will now consistently reward a chest and pot completion. Absolutely. Absolutely, so we're gonna go there a lot, obviously. Fixed an issue where cellars would permanently be marked as complete. Prematurely, okay. Okay, that's a good change. I didn't have this issue, but I remember finding good stuff there, especially when you meet those goblins which run away with this bag of gold you so desperately want to get. Fixed an issue where the guaranteed elite monster would be absent from a cellar. Okay. General quality of life. Fixed an issue where players could increase attack speed. By move cancelling attacks early. Okay. Game is saved, guys. The most important bug of all is fixed. Fixed an issue where characters weren't immune and untargetable after loading into an area. Most probably this was some heavy load on services related. A recent dungeon, the reset dungeon button been disabled. This is actually good because it was quite easy to get over death. Maybe in hardcore this would have been abused. So yeah, that's a good change. I so wanted to have this removed. Sanctuary. Wow, Diablo IV Sanctuary is home to over 100 dungeons. The open beta only had the subset offered in Act 1's Fractured Peaks for players to explore and level cap that isn't a full representation of the experience at launch. I'm so glad that they remind this. There are many reasons to compete in a variety of dungeons, including collecting powerful affixes, and players will still be able to repeat dungeons by partying up with others and having them start the dungeon. Actually, I remember being able to reset the dungeon no matter I completed it, but just don't complete the dungeon. Just get in, kill the mobs, don't finish it, and get out and enter again. Especially if it's easy to go to dungeon with easy layouts, which makes it repetitive. At least you can do this like early leveling. I remember this being useful. Also wanted to make sure that resetting the dungeon wasn't a way for hardcore players to avoid death when experiencing a challenge in a dungeon. There you have it. Still, we know it can be fun to repeat a specific dungeon, and the team is looking at a more permanent solution to this, like having some reasonable cap on how many times some dungeon can be completed in a row to better support that style of play. They will understand one day. In fact, in the full game, players will acquire sigils that will unlock nightmare dungeons. Yeah, I remember that. Which are specifically designed to be completed repeatedly and are optimized to be highly rewarding and replayable. We'll have more to share on this in the future. Well, dungeons being part of the end game, they should be replayable. Totally makes sense. Fixed an issue that caused to have less monsters than intended until the campaign quests in those territories were completed. Okay, so I guess that wraps it up. I kind of did this second take because my first video commenting these changes was maybe like an hour, which didn't make me fulfill my promise. I wouldn't be wasting your time. I think you guys should be able to draw your own conclusions. Let me know in the comments below what you think about those changes, and see you guys in the next video.